We all have this kind of internal map for how life is supposed to work. But what happens when that map leads you completely off the grid to a place you never, ever wanted to be? Today, we're going to get into that. What to do when life just doesn't go according to plan. Okay, let's just be real for a second. Does this feel familiar? You've put in the work. You've done everything you were supposed to do. You've given it your all. And still, nothing's changing. It's not getting better. And you're just left there thinking, does any of this effort even matter?
Or maybe it's this one. You did the right thing. You were honest. You played by the rules. You took the high road. But instead of getting ahead, you just watched someone else who cut corners get the prize. And it feels like you were actually punished for having integrity.
Yeah, when these things happen, it creates this weird, unsettling feeling, doesn't it? The whole cause and effect rulebook that we were handed as kids suddenly feels like a complete fantasy. It's like you're playing chess, but the world is playing a completely different game with its own secret rules. And this forces us to ask a much, much bigger question. What's the deal here? Is life this predictable, orderly system where if you do good things happen? Or is it all just random, chaotic noise? And if it is, well, what's the point of any of it? Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Ancient wisdom literature, and we're talking specifically about the Hebrew Bible here, doesn't actually try to give you one simple answer. Instead, it offers something way more useful, a toolkit for navigating life. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, life is both orderly and chaotic. The real trick is learning how to live in whatever reality you find yourself in. So let's open up this toolkit. We're going to start with phase 1 of understanding, what we can call the world of order. And this way of thinking is laid out perfectly in the book of Proverbs. It's a world that, for the most part, makes sense. And look, this mindset is absolutely essential. You can't build a life or a career or a family without some kind of structure. You need to believe that your choices have consequences, and that if you act with wisdom, things will probably work out. Proverbs gives you that clear, reliable map. The key idea in this phase is something called reverence. But don't think of it as fear. The original text really means something more like a clear-headed sobriety. It's just this simple, humble awareness that you're not the center of the universe, and that life has a structure that exists outside of you. So here's the bottom line for this phase. Psychologically, the Proverbs mindset gives us the structure and direction we need to actually get things done. But spiritually, it lifts this massive burden off our shoulders. It tells us, hey, the world isn't defined by you, and you don't have to hold the whole thing together by yourself. You can trust the system. But, as we all know, life doesn't always stay in that neat, orderly phase. Sooner or later, you hit a wall, and you enter a world of questions. This phase is captured with brutal honesty in the book of Ecclesiastes. This is where the simple rules just start falling apart. You realize that time kind of erases everything, and that death comes for everyone. Ecclesiastes looks this reality straight in the eye and basically says, if your whole meaning in life is based on stuff you can count or collect, then feeling empty isn't just a possibility. It's pretty much inevitable. So that idea of reverence, it totally changes here. It's not about following the rules to get a good result anymore. It becomes this profound admission. I can't control the big things, like time and death. But what I can do is choose how to live, how to find joy, right here in the moment I've been given. So in this phase, our deep psychological need shifts from structure to meaning. We need a new anchor to hold on to. And the spiritual lesson is that reverence isn't about having a perfect explanation for why things are the way they are. It's about what keeps you from getting lost in the void, when the world just stops making sense. And then, sometimes, life takes us to a place that's even deeper. A world that is totally beyond any explanation. This is the territory of senseless suffering, the world we see in the book of Job. This is a phase where all the formulas, all the easy answers are not only useless, they're actually cruel. When someone is drowning in that kind of profound, unexplainable pain, trying to give them an explanation feels like an accusation. It's like you're subtly blaming them for their own suffering. And this brings us to the deepest, hardest form of reverence. It has nothing to do with understanding a system. It's about finding the strength to simply endure a mystery. It's about facing a reality, a presence that is so much bigger than you, without demanding that it makes sense. What a person needs here isn't an answer. It's companionship. It's someone to help them endure. The spiritual lesson of Job is just so powerful. Faith is not a magic wand that makes pain disappear, but it can be the very thing that holds you together so you don't completely fall apart inside that pain.
Okay, so we have these three really different phases, right? The clean order of Proverbs, the hard questions of Ecclesiastes, and the deep mystery of Job. So how do we bring it all together? Well, this is where real wisdom begins.
It leads us right to the critical question this whole explainer has been building up to. So after all that, what does it actually mean to be wise?
True wisdom isn't about picking one of these books and deciding to live there forever. Not at all. It's about recognizing which season of life you're in right now and knowing which tool to pull from the kit. Sometimes you need the clear structure of Proverbs. Other times you need the blunt honesty of Ecclesiastes. And sometimes the only thing to do is stand in the quiet, profound silence of Job.
And this really gets to the heart of what reverence means. It's not about being scared. It's not a technique for controlling your life. And it is definitely not a guarantee that everything will be okay. At its core, it is simply a humble admission that there is a reality out there that is so much bigger than what I can ever hope to understand, control, or predict.
And the ability to just stop there, to not rush to explain everything, to not try and shrink the world down into a size you can manage, but to just be present in that great mystery, well, that kind of quiet acceptance, that in itself is wisdom.